All right, this one's going to be short but sweet. This is chapter number 2. We're going to be looking at learning objective 6, identifying the difference between direct and indirect cost. So in my opinion, this is probably most related to learning objectives 1 and 2, which we already covered. So again, this is going to be a relatively short one because I do want to revisit it before we then go and talk about decision making. So it's a nice little refresh. Friendly reminder that a cost object are any units of analysis for which cost data are desired. This includes products, customers, jobs, organizational subunits, anything. So when we assign costs to these cost objects, costs are classified as either direct or indirect, where direct costs are costs that can be easily and conveniently traced to a unit or product or other cost object. Conversely, an indirect cost are costs that cannot be easily and conveniently traced to a unit of product or other cost object. An example of direct would be direct materials or direct labor, our coffee cup, our coffee pourer. An example of indirect would be manufacturing overhead, for example, the utility costs in the Tim Hortons. In the instance of a vehicle, direct costs could include tires, body, windshield, assembly labor. And indirect costs would be electricity, plant, rent, probably glue or other bits. I'm sure Tesla wouldn't be happy if I said glue, but I'm sure there's some glue in there somewhere. But not easily traceable to each car. So think materiality. Is it worth counting little glue bits for one vehicle? If not, probably in the indirect cost bucket. Question time. What about a CrossFit box? What are its products? How would you account for different items in this picture? So I want you to pause this video and give this a thought. Why is manufacturing overhead considered an indirect cost of a product? And then how do we apply this to a CrossFit box? All right, so why is manufacturing overhead considered an indirect cost of a product? It's all about materiality. If you really want to go into every nook and cranny, every bit, you could tie the light for 1 hour to each 1 hour CrossFit class if you really wanted to. You could go and look at, how much turf. So was turf 99.9% good before class and 99.8, or go from 99.9 to 99.8. So did you use 0.01% of it and then allocate the cost as direct material of that exact class? So it all comes down to materiality. We have to run a business. We cannot just account. We account for a reason. It's for information. We have definitely an inherent cost benefit for this accounting. And I tend to use the word materiality. Again, it tends to be an audit term. That being said, it is just a reminder that cost must be less than the benefit received. You don't want to over account for things. Okay, so what about a CrossFit box? What's its product? Well, I would argue that the product is actually a service, and it's a 1 hour class. So you get in, you do some strength work, you do your Metcon. Of course, there is a warm-up and perhaps some accessories or some stretching, but it's that 1 hour where people come together. So the major cost of that would be the manufacturing overhead, so the depreciation of all of this equipment that you're seeing, as well as the coach's hour for their instruction, so the direct labor. Now you might say, well, what about the plyo box? That's a direct material. Or what about that rig? That's a direct material. But is it? I would argue that the plyo box and the rig and the turf and all the weights and everything in here that is not consumed in that one class, that's not easily tied to consuming in one class, is going to be, put into the other bucket because it's not a direct material. We didn't just consume the plyo box. It's good for the next class and the next class and the next class. But what we do is recognize that you couldn't do the class without the plyo box. You couldn't do the class without the weights. You couldn't do the class without this different piece of equipment. So you would depreciate how much, say you have a plyo box, you have to replace it every year. So each month you would depreciate that plyo box by 1/12, for example. And that depreciation would go into the manufacturing overhead other bucket, and we would allocate that other bucket to each class or each day, just on some sort of reasonable cost object basis. Okay, so kind of neat for me. Listen, this stuff is all around, and it really leads into our next learning objective, which is decision making, which is why I did want to revisit the importance of looking at costs and cost objects, direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, before we go into our last learning objective. So thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.